The pickup, the nerves, the goal. Still side bottom. What an absolute champion.
Florent tries to get rid of it. Side bottom, picks up, clean, goes. Can you believe this? They're back to within 3.
Maynard trying to rub the oil off Buddy here is pretty funny. Jack Ginnivan runs up to the mark and he stands immediately, and somehow this is 50 metres. As we watch the replay, doesn't look like 50 metres to me.
I didn't hear the umpire call stand.
Oh, that felt really marginal, didn't it? Yeah. Jack Ginnivan's got a...
Absolute desperation by both teams here. What an exciting finish this was. It was amazing.
McInerney needs to get rid of it. Does. It's going to go through for a minus score. And the Swans, the Bloods, will play in the last game of the season.
Not sure if Warner was going for the shot here, but what a lucky bounce. It went through for a goal.
Bouncing ball. That's gone through. A miracle at the SCG.
Although the siren had gone, the umpire hadn't called the half-time signal, and Quaynor gets a free for holding the ball on Buddy. Unfortunately, he couldn't make the distance or accuracy.
We have a shot after the siren, and boy, do Collingwood need this. Jason Dunstall to stay in touch.
Well, they need the barrel.
He's got hold of it, but it's a long way to the side. So
Heaney has multiple options inside the forward 50, and somehow he ends up absolutely shanking it.
Potentially, McDonald wants it, won't get anywhere near it.
So strategically, Collingwood are happy.
After Noble gets a free kick for a high tackle, he too shanks it as Reid puts pressure on.
It's taken high by Reid. Pies dances into the sunshine, puts the ball out of bounds on the full. Wanted Hoskin Elliott.
After a holding free kick was paid to Papley, Noble sort of pats the ball away a little bit further, and the umpire sees it and gives away a 50-metre penalty. This is just silly from Noble.
And that's where the 50 was paid. And then just watch the celebration.
Papley and Crisp accidentally trip the umpire.
Inside 50s apiece now. 6 of the last 7 though to Collingwood.
McInerney reads the ball excellently here, and he takes the intercept mark and runs into an open goal.
Hasn't been able to do that a lot so far in this game.
No.
Oh no! McInerney read it better than anyone else. Howe waited. He's going to cruise in and kick a goal. Justin McInerney with a big play.
Was this a push in the back? I'll leave it up to you. I think it was. I think the umpires missed this one.
But not the mark. I got the free or the mark.
It looked like there was 2 hands in the back. I would have thought. Oh, ball looked like it was positioned pretty well. But in saying that, the umpire was side on, so he got a clear view of it. But it doesn't matter to that man when the big occasion comes.
If you like this video, then please do subscribe. Let's get to it. Love him or hate him, Trent Cotchin goes hard at the ball. Watch him get absolutely cleaned up by Buddy here. What a hit. This one actually happens before the first video, and as you can see, Buddy absolutely bitch slaps Trent Cotchin. I have no idea what he was thinking here. First of all, I just want to highlight where Frederick is. He's in the middle of the ground, and as you can see, he runs on down into the forward line and makes a beautiful back pass. It's probably one of the best goal assists of the year that I've seen. Well, as far as I know, I don't think that's a prize, which is quite unfortunate because this is extremely clever and it leads to a Freo goal. Frederick again, he gets a high tackle here. It's probably debatable, but he sells the sweetest of candy, which puts them within 1 point. This was a turning point in the game, in my opinion.
How good they've been in the air. Low leads, lob doubles back. Frederick sneaks past, gets close enough. Oh, now they're right. But he couldn't find the right option, so he took it upon himself.
Even after losing the election, he still gets the boos.
100%.
Scott Morrison in the house.
In this last video, we can see the umpire dodged the footy, and he's done a pretty good job to get out of the way. Last week we had ScoMo, now we've got Damian Lillard. I'm sure he has absolutely no idea what's happening. In this one we can see Lockie Neal get done for another dangerous tackle, which, I don't know, doesn't look dangerous to me. I think that is holding the ball. After Logue kicks the goal, there's a little bit of biff between Freo and the Brisbane Lions. There's not really much to it, but I thought you guys might want to watch it.
There's a huge blow off the ball. It happened as David Mundy kicked that ball in. There'll be fines and start it, Pav.
After the Crows started the first quarter 5 goals to 0, West Coast finally get the first chance at a score. Kennedy loses Duday, drops the mark and absolutely shanks the kick. Bailey Smith was given 2 weeks for his headbutt on Zach Tui. From some angles it looks like he does actually make some pretty decent force behind the headbutt, but in this last clip it really looks like he pushes his head against him and sort of scrapes his head. I don't know. What do you guys think? After Collier takes 3 bounces, he takes a shot at goal and gets one of the unluckiest bounces I've seen in AFL. Should have taken the mark and kicked the goal. I know hindsight is 20/20. Round 10 saw a lot of weird stuff in the AFL, like Luke Bruce think he's going to score a try for the Rabbitohs or something. In this clip we can see Warner run too far and a free kick is paid, then umpire dissent gives them 50 metres, but for some reason Carlton don't take the 50 metres. I didn't even know you were allowed to do that.
It's not taken. Wow. So this has got to work. Curnow got a hold.
In this funny clip we can see Bruce try to bounce the ball while being tackled, which is holding the ball, but it's not a typical bounce. Darcy Fort tries to kick a goal off the ground, but unfortunately he misses and ends up smacking into the goalpost. Different teams have different celebrations. This one, I don't think I've seen before. Sometimes the commentators use these statistics to try and get their point across. This one from BT is a little strange.
Carlton 100 plus points. 4 weeks running. Last time they did that, Kevin Rudd was the Prime Minister. It's been a while, but they're starting to score.
I thought the ruling was if the ball's tapped out while getting tackled, it's not holding the ball. Paddy Cripps had a while to dispose of the ball, which he didn't, which I guess is why this was paid as holding the ball. After Nick Bryan kicks a goal, Toby Nankervis celebrates, or yeah, I don't know what he's doing here. This may very well be the softest push in the pack free I've ever seen. Just listen to BT's reaction.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Ward kicks a clearing ball to get it out of the area, and eventually you can actually see the umpire change their decision from throw in to deliberate out of bounds. Take a look. Charlie Curnow's kick for goal is a good reminder that we are all human. He kicks a lot like me actually. Harry McKay's back at it again. He has another obvious flop. I hope the AFL give him a fine for this because He just seems to do it all the time. Give the man a fine. Try and stop this, please.
Had a couple of these already. Harry Mackay has gone around the body both times.
There's a lot of mayonnaise on that.
As does that. 3 now.
Bit of odd conversation between the commentators here. Take a listen.
I love that. Can't bring a brolly to the game, but you can bring a great big bass drum and a stick.
And a big flogger. No brollies though.
No, not allowed a brolly.
Noble from Collingwood gives away a 50-metre penalty for not standing when the umpire's called stand. He's backing up almost on the point when the umpire said stand. I don't see any benefit to Collingwood if he does back up. Even though the umpire has called stand, I understand that's the rule, but it just doesn't seem like it's worth a 50-metre penalty. He was actually bouncing up, looking at the umpire, almost pleading not to give away a free after he does trip Zach Jones. But when we slow it down, we can actually see that Zach Jones' stud actually goes into Robinson's mouth or nose area. That's why he sort of jumps up. I originally thought it was something a lot funnier, but it's actually something pretty painful. Sidebottom gets called for holding the ball as Jack Viney tackles him and he just walks over the sideline. I'm happy they've actually paid this one because it seems to happen too often where the players rely on the boundary line to get them out of trouble. He had prior opportunity, he didn't get rid of it, and he took him over the sideline very easily. It's a free kick in my opinion. Dan Butler runs down Clark and somehow this isn't holding the ball. And then almost the exact same thing happens a couple seconds later, but somehow this is holding the ball. Can anyone explain this? I do not understand what Matt Stevic is doing here.
Tackled Mundy. Could they go back the other way? Clark, well done, Dan Butler ran him down. Saints fans thought it was holding the footy. Frederick.
Barras has the ball and he's a chance to get rid of the ball, but instead he is forced over the line. In previous weeks we would have seen this being paid as holding the ball. How is this any different?
Allows that to roll.
In this clip we can see the physicality of the game between the Bulldogs and the Swans. I think there would be a lot of sore bodies the next day.
Maybe got in each other's way. Still the heat comes. Stevens gets smashed from behind.
Into the game, so it may be a concussion issue. We'll wait and check it out.
Jeez, you worry when you see Aaron Norton writhing on the...
Dixon fakes Phil Davis into thinking he's going to take the kick and he goes around and kicks the ball straight into the defender. I'm not sure why, but I was at this game and there was a lot of people around us that laughed at this. I don't know why it was so funny.
It's a kid's toy and the shake and bake. Smother. Back to the boundary and a state interest, but...
Watch Goulden's attempt here to convince the umpire that he is trying to get rid of the ball so he's not called for holding the ball. Insufficient attempt, I guess. Tom Hawkins is in the ruck and he gets thrown to the ground by Max Gawn, and somehow this is a blocking call on him. You can hear Hawkins yelling at the umpire, "What? What?" But it's actually Joel Selwood who throws the ball back at Gawn away from him, giving away the 50-metre penalty.
It was a 50 for the ball being thrown back. Who threw it back?
Joel Selwood has it.
It was a cat, was it? It wasn't descent. It was, I think Joel just missed.
David Mundy has the ball and he disposes of the ball very incorrectly in my opinion, and the umpire's right there and he still doesn't call it.
Sure, that's... you dropped the mark, Mundy.
When Powell Pepper plays proper footy, he is unstoppable. Here you can see he kicks the goal. Unfortunately, it is touched. This might be the best point I've seen all year.
He brushes them. Oh, he shook him like a dog water and kicked a ripper.
Walsh kicks the ball into the forward 50 for Carlton, and eventually it finds its way to Fisher, who gets absolutely ragdolled.
Honey roving it front and centre, got it away. Hewitt took the contact, started working on. He got it across to Fisher. He wants to twist and turn. He's just ragdolled in the end by William. On, he got it across to Fisher. He wants to twist and turn. He's just
Bedenmo takes an absolute beautiful air swing here.
Norton arriving a little late now. An opportunity at ground level to be picked up by Stevens. He went over the top of it. Soccer off the ground by Bedenmo. He missed the ball. Fox to McCartan. This is
Adam Treloar takes the kick in and he kicks it out of bounds on the full. Luckily Buddy only kicks a point, but the game was already done at this stage. Not much to it, but we can hear the umpire's voice crack.
To the back. Bulldogs. Free kick goes the Western Bulldogs
When
way.
the team that wears black and a red sash played the GWS Giants, Kelly Underwood had this fantastic observation for us.
It's been 7 consecutive goals to the Orange team. Extraordinary momentum shift. We've had a few of them.
Stevenson kicks the ball in straight to Buddy and he clearly doesn't watch. Buddy comes in, kicks the goal and gives him a little bump just to let him know.
He wouldn't have kicked too many easier than that.
Jeremy Cameron does everything he can to get himself into the shot.
Where the target might be.
8 goals for the year. Get a bit of an idea of his distance here from outside 50. Plenty of altitude. It's coming back. It's coming. It's coming.
Giving away a 50-metre penalty is pretty bad at any point in the game, but with 1 second left, it's inexcusable.
Run out here. What a 50-metre penalty.
Told you to stand. You were standing.
50-metre penalty with 1 second to go. Incredible collective combination of 12 first quarter goals. Salem here from 30 metres out, dragged it.
Bailey Smith did this not too long ago and he kicks another ripper goal.
Smith got it from McRae. Good shot, great shot. From the toughest of angles.
Ben Miller absolutely shanks it as he kicks for goal.
Kick to Rioli at centre half forward. Morris goes short and he finds Miller. Just as the 1 goal in AFL footy in game number 9. Ben Miller, more a defender than forward.
The Bont spoils the ball straight into a kid's face. He does the right thing and goes and checks on the kid, but man, ouch.
Mundy wide to lob and Bontempelli puts the garbage out. Says sorry. Okay.
He'll wear that with pride at school on Monday. Don't worry about that.
Burgoyne knocks the ball over the boundary line. It's not in a marking contest, so I guess it's technically correct, but we see this happen almost every week and not paid.
And he's been really clean tonight. I mean, the rain had fallen at half-time. They played deliberately.
Yeah.
Mason Cox will probably get a please explain for this, and I guess $1,000 fine as well.
Midfield and Dacos is sitting off, getting heaps of the footy.
Let it go. Let it go. It's prohibited contact. Clayton. In. Yeah, your knee went straight into me. Rough conduct.
Paddy Cripps is probably going to be in trouble for this one. He does contest the ball, but it's a little too physical. Interestingly, there's no free kick paid on the spot, but I think he's going to either have a fine, possible suspension.
Here's another look. It probably ended up being high contact. It was in the Blues. Just, as you see that.
Burgoyne has completely missed the ball, and then Cumberland has come in to kick the goal, and he's missed it too.
Jump out. Thank you. Play on.
Sam Darcy gets to the contest very late and just gives Schultz a Jackie Chan style kick. 50-metre penalty for this.
It's a 50 because of the way he got there. Well, he's telling us that he has the journey in him, but maybe it's the 30 seconds off the clock. Yeah.
Libba hits Mundy high and the umpire calls a free kick, and Libba gives the umpire a spray, descent and 50-metre penalty.
A couple of defensive lapses for the Dockers already.
Oh, 50.
Draper gets a free kick, and as he kicks it, he slips over.
Accidentally on purpose.
Gave a couple away 50s last week. So Draper,
It was a bullet. Here we go.
Yes.
Just slips over. But look at that. Lace out.
Petrarca cops the ball straight to the nose thanks to Jamie Elliott.
Play on.
Neil Bullen.
Play on.
Gawn has a running shot at goal and he misses the lot.
Brayshaw inside 50. Quainer got a difficult bouncing ball. The talented Pickett. Little soccer, Neil Bullen. Great handball. Gawn. Right foot inside out. Slider, banana. Oh boy, Maxi's had a bad night by foot.
Both Ginnivan and Salem flop here. I think they'll probably be looking at a fine for this. Goldstein cops some friendly fire and gets a ball straight to the nose.
Goldstein versus Hickey. Oh, that's popped that from his teammate Goldstein. Goldstein versus Hickey.
Johnson from the Pies has a shot at goal and he too shanks it.
Oh no. Could not have made a bigger mess.
A nice spin from Hibberd, and then Viney takes the ball, he kicks it down to Ben Brown, who makes a really nice play.
Viney focuses on the ball as always, and then dribbles it forward. Ben Brown, clever. Spargo, where does he go with this? Max Gawn in perfect position.
Bailey Williams from the West Coast Eagles has a chance to put them just 1 point down, and from point blank he kicks it straight into the post.
I believe it's a goal. I just want to check if the ball didn't hit the post.
That's a reason.
The technology makes the right call. It hit the post from Williams from such close.
Somehow this was not called holding the ball, and then Bont gets called for holding the ball. The one on Bont definitely is holding the ball, but the first one should have been paid.
Was Walker. Bontempelli had an eternity.
Really strange decision here by Tom Mitchell to play on. They clearly do not have advantage. The umpires pay it. Just bad decision overall.
Behind by McDonald. Unusual advantage taken or paid. Anyway, the Hawks will have to do the best they can.
Collins takes the mark and Bruce runs over the mark by 5-10 metres, and somehow it's called play on, and then he gets called for holding the ball. This is an absolute disaster by the umpire.
Does beautifully. Now he's got a problem with Bruce though. Bruce got him. Has got him.
That is so stiff.
Contest really well done by Collins. Does beautifully. Now he's got a problem with Bruce though. Bruce got him. Has got him.
That is.
Pickett receives some advice from the Port Adelaide fans, and as he slots the goal he looks back and tells the crowd to shush. It's pretty good to see that the fan that was heckling him took it like a champ.
He's so good.
Connor Razee takes a fantastic mark.
Now Butters gets an opportunity. Slip and slide and handball. Farrell, that powerful left foot, sends it. Rozee lifts. Oh, the climb of his life. He takes it. Rozee lifts.
Scrimshaw's kicking out of defence, and he absolutely shanks the kick straight back to the Gold Coast Suns.
Oh, gee, absolutely bungs it.
Birch won't be happy with that.
No.
Very uncharacteristic of Steele side bottom here. He completely misses the ball.
Side bottom just missed with the attempted kick. Side bottom.
A voice crack is always funny in my books.
Handball receives, just trusts his teammate to get it done. He receives off them.
Pickett had it, lost it.
Jack Zeeble has a chance to kick a goal, and he too absolutely shanks it.
And Goldie turns into space. Zeeble needs to be clever here. And that was the worst of all possible options by the experience.
Toby Green has nominated himself for Mark of the Year.
We have liftoff. Toby Green.
To see that leap again. That's massive.
Jack Ginnivan is clearly taken higher by Mason Redmond, and the umpires do not give him the free, I guess because of his history.
Lets it go. Oh, I'm not sure about that.
Give you the ball. Is that a significant enough dropping at the knees?
After Bailey Smith kicks a point, Hibberd wants to take the ball in, but the umpire won't let him until the goal umpire has made his signals, and then he can grab the ball from the bag.
Just take it back to the basket. You got to wait for him to give the signal. Okay, there you go.
Cox has taken a great mark over the ruckman Phillips and 2 metre Peter.
Big
somehow Cox!
Good day Cosby looking at goal of the year here. He bounces the ball past his defender and then basketball passes it back to himself and goes on and kicks the goal.
A couple of bounces, and like his brilliant father, bumps it through.
Jeremy Cameron clearly takes Goal Missed of the Year award here. He runs on through goal. This should be an easy goal, and yeah.
He's missed it. But once again, I mean, the finish here is that's just, well, anyway, that is what it is. But the one...
Fox Footy has the best commentators, and you cannot change my mind.
I'm going to turn here. No, I'm not. Bang. Turn over. Unfortunate there for Jack Rednish.
Tim English takes the ball and kicks it just inside 50 for a running goal. Pretty rare to see from a ruckman.
Handballs to English on the run. The ruckman, a long ball, a glorious ball. Tim English, take a bow.
After 2 metre Peter kicks a goal, let's watch this Essendon fan celebrate. And later, after Sam Draper kicks a goal, he celebrates again.
To extend this lead outside of the boot. Oh, no chance.
Oh, he's off.
He is taking the mickey.
Oddities has tried to take Mark of the Year. There's some pretty good marks this week.
Look at this. Oh, dear me.
Thanks, Todd Marshall.
It takes some courage to be under those.
Good to see some consistency here. JJ drags the ball in and then he loses possession, but the ball is still held in and called for holding the ball. This is very similar to the Ginnivan and Taylor Walker incident.
Mollison calls holding the ball.
Jamari Ugle-Hagan gets the tap down and then he runs away from the goal along the boundary and kicks a goal from 50 to ice the game. This is an incredibly hard kick.
That's something extraordinary.
Almost seems like every week that Cozzy Pickett has a rundown tackle. He's kind of unlucky he didn't get paid for holding the ball for this one.
Talking about right there, brilliant stuff. Probably unlucky not to be rewarded, Cozzy Pickett.
120-metre chase.
Liam Ryan gets absolutely pancaked in this tackle and somehow the umpire calls holding the ball.
Collapsed on him. Oh, he's squashed. He's pancaked.
Well,
what a great effort, Liam Ryan.
Get another look at it.
Yeah, that last one. If Jack Higgins got a...
Just looks like Guelphy sticks his arm out just to... I don't know if he's contesting the ball for a mark or if he's just trying to stop a defender taking a mark. Somehow he comes up with it.
Goes to Guelphy.
Mundy kicks the ball back to Pearce, who takes a mark and then absolutely shanks it, and Shai Bolton gets the easiest goal of his life.
Revolt, the two veterans. He goes back and finds Pearce, and that's a poor turnover. Walk in, second goal of the night. Shai Bolton.
We can see Daniel Rich take a knee to the head and he tries to get up and he's extremely wobbly. He will not be playing next week.
Play the rules, or bend them slightly, and you get that sort of contact.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ugly. Here, I think Levi was coming in. He's just, his head's in a vulnerable position. Yeah, it's ugly. There's not much Levi can do. There's not much Daniel Rich can do. He's committed to that ball.
Adam Sard has taken an amazing specky.
Hunted down, got the kick away. Stop! Takes a ripper!
Anyone I've seen.
This is Hanger Stadium.
Oh, Peatley.
Sarong kicks the ball into the forward 50, in which Taberner takes a pretty good mark, and then he follows it up with an absolute shank.
So Matt Taberner, not much of a run-up. Tarrant.
Sam Walsh steals the handball from Jacob Ware, and he gets the ball, he bounces it, and then he tries to fake the GWS ruckman, Bruce, and Bruce is not falling for it.
Tackle from Bruce. I think we can safely say he's not affected by that ankle.
Pressure on the kick, and it might
Jack Gunston shows us why he's one of the best goal kickers in the modern era.
To the hole, and you could put it right on his chest.
Okay, Nick's
Force 2v1s. Big kick. Gunston. Oh, swing late. Here it comes. It's a big in swing. Oh, look at that. Knocked over middle peg. And Gunston's got three. Swing late. Here it comes. It's a big in-swinger.
The balls on Jamie Elliott are huge. He could have passed this off to Ginnivan or tried to hit Mychek, but instead he kicks the goal and Collingwood win the game, send Carlton out of finals.
Collingwood are in front! Collingwood are in front! Can you believe it? Collingwood by 1 point!
Such a clutch finish.
I didn't realise how quick Warner was. As soon as he gets the ball, he puts the Jets on and kicks a fantastic goal.
Pass from Hayward. Warner can run and kick long to the square. Papley wasn't required. What a gun!
What a goal.
Cam Rayner most likely going to miss a week after this dangerous tackle on Ben Brown.
Into a nest of Lions. They make it work though, although Ben Brown gets belted.
Dangerous tackle.
Dangerous tackle.
Wait, dangerous tackle. Melbourne free kick. Stand up.
And he's dead.
Let it go now. Let it go. Cam.
You can see
Cam, you're on report for rough
his
conduct.
teammate.
Report him. Move out.
DeGoey gets a free kick for a hold, and the umpire points the way that it's a Collingwood free. DeGoey cannot believe it, that it's not his free, but it is his free. He doesn't know which way he's going. Watch this.
The ball, and that was the free kick. And it took a long time to come back. Maynard's going to pump it deep into a fence. And a free kick now will go to DeGoey. Off the free kick. And it took a long time to come.
Just before that, DeGoey gave away a 50-metre penalty and a goal for stepping when the umpire told him to stand.
DeGoey spun into a couple of tacklers. And
Stand.
And now 50. Listen to the noise starting to build.
Draper takes out the umpire and the umpire gets up a lot quicker than Draper does. Do you think he'll get a fine for this?
Umpire got poleaxed by Draper. The umpire got quicker than Sam Draper, as it turns out, and it's going to favour the Tigers. Straight, and he shakes his head.
He was lucky that he sort of got him. Probably not full contact of his body weight because he was completely blindsided.
Finlayson gets paid a free kick in which he can kick for a goal after the siren, and his kick is no good. Just watch his reaction. It's a little bit different.
In time, it has to be front on contact against Hinge on Finlay. He's gone back for the drop punt over the man on the mark. And it's been that kind of night for Jeremy Finlayson. It's been a muddle upstairs for the former Giants. Here to
Always love seeing a physical game between Melbourne and the Brisbane Lions. Let's hope we see this sort of intensity in the finals.
Lions controlled it. Now it's over.
Oh boy, this is heating up. Viney's a target at the moment. They want to attack him. Lions it was, I think, come flying in.
Who's on the mark?
It is extreme at the moment.
The umpire's call holding the ball, but there's a little bit of confusion. Let's listen.
Upended was Rivers.
Holding the ball first. Was holding the ball first, yeah. No. Brisbane free first.
Brisbane free first.
Brisbane's holding the ball first.
Okay, Rayner. Thank you. Rayner.
I think they got that right in the end, didn't they?
Yeah, well.
Please tell me how this was not paid a mark.
They are within 1 point. Cox, Howe from the side. Couldn't quite hang on. But the Blues are not interested. They want... Jeremy Howe had a good piece of that. Just didn't hold it on the landing. He was basically horizontal, if you don't mind.
Good to see Hurley kick one final goal in his last game for the Bombers.
Holding. Advantage.
Advantage been played, and this is a bit of a magic moment. On cue, Michael Hurley.
And he's going to kick a drop punt rather than around the corner like everyone else.
He's got a smile on his face walking in. Can Hurls do it? Yep. He slides it home, Michael Hurley, and the Hurley family, they're going off. Oh, that's beautiful.
Jake Lever kicks his first goal for the year and his first goal for Melbourne. Look how excited he is.
50 metres.
50-metre penalty here as well. So Jake Lever from just outside the 50. Plenty of height. Kick looks online. Gee, it's good. It's there. Lever's got it. First of the year for him.
Here's some of that physicality that we saw earlier.
Club at the moment. Here is Richard halfback. Low penetrating ball. McCarthy got upended. Low penetrating ball. McCarthy.
Mickey Walters gets a free kick for a hold and he absolutely shanks it.
Third grab wasn't quite there. Walters, he was slung, he didn't have it. Free kick. As this to make it a one-kick game. And they've been missing to that pocket all afternoon. That's a good grab, Taylor.
Here's a fair warning. If you don't want to see Neil Bullen throw up, skip to the next one now.
Let it go, James.
They can rattle goals on you quickly. Neil Bullen in some distress.
Somehow this was not called for holding the ball and the Kangaroos get an easy goal.
Well, they did all the hard work. Lazaro, Rowell again just doing enough. Lazaro mops it up. Finally they'll get the goal and it's Jack Marnie.
Tackle him. I'll have to check that again. I thought it was...
It's this one here.
Would have thought that's holding the ball.
Yeah. Well, that's how they're going to get their next goal, Joey.
Ward gets a very unlucky bounce. Usually these go through. The ball bounces over to Riccardi who kicks the goal, but it's actually touched. This went through video review and somehow they saw that the ball was touched. I never saw it.
Riccardi! Is it touched? He's claimed it and it's been given.
Blakey had a bad handball and he was paid for insufficient intent keeping the ball in. Technically it's the right call, but it's just a bad handball.
Kick for insufficient intent. He tried to knock it through for a behind, but because it hit the behind post, he's gone for insufficient intent because there's two different rules depending on where it goes.
He doesn't know.
St Kilda had some periods where the defensive pressure was fantastic to watch, but unfortunately the Swans were just too good. This is a fantastic defensive play. I'd love to see more of this from the Saints, maybe next year.
It's been terrific today, Hutto. Can make him to the team. It's a good player.
Draper wants to put an end to all this. Hands it over to Guelphy. Draper wants it back. The brush off. Runs into space. Outside of the boot. He enticed them. He sliced them. He diced them. They can't catch him.
Jack Ginnivan is called for holding the ball here when we can clearly see Taylor Walker is holding the ball behind him. Jack Ginnivan has no chance at getting rid of the ball. This is the wrong call.
Isn't that rule a bit funny, man? He's nowhere near the ball.
Oh, a gimme. Let's have a look. Down and over the ball, and then it's out the back. So
Yeah, I think it's poison. It's not out the back, it's in Tex Walker's hands.
it's in his possession.
This is the second week in a row that Arts has the chance to kick a winning goal and win the game for Richmond. He had the chance against Gold Coast and he has the chance against North Melbourne, and he stuffs it up bad.
He didn't have to. He gets it back. Heads goalward. Crushed through for a behind.
Wow, it was a big call in the middle.
This lob kick from Taberner for a goal is pretty good. It's too bad that it happened so late in the game.
Square, Taberner's there. Mills was there help. Taberner, the volley, the soccer skills from Matt Taberner.
From the ball up, Anderson takes a snap kick to try and clear the space. The ball takes a really bad turn and he's called for deliberate.
Horrific bounce, insufficient intent. Anderson wobbles it away, and how will the umpire read that? It took a...
Great goal here by Bergman. Under pressure, he's able to get the check side kick off for a goal.
Can he link up with Marshall? Flips it back. Bergman steps May, goes with a banana and kicks a ripper.
Did notice that in the Melbourne vs Port game, the clock in the first quarter counted up and the rest of the game counted down. Don't know why, but just a bit odd.
Brown immediately plays on as well. Now Melcham within 55 a goal. That kick's not so good to pick it on the lead. Jonas.
Charlie Dixon lifts Brayshaw up off the ground and he has the chance to throw him down on the ground. Luckily he doesn't. because that would have been quite a hefty suspension.
Then to dump Brayshaw.
He pulled out of that one, didn't he?
Yes,
he lifted him in the air, thought, I can't do this, and he pulled out. So
and a Dixon into the air at 100 and what would he be, Shawnee? 105 kegs?
Yep, about that, yep.
Darcy Fogarty kicks a goal which goes left to right, and even he can't believe it went through. If you've made it this far in the video, please leave a like and subscribe, it helps.
Yeah, it was early against Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, came back out and he wasn't quite sure about the flight path.
Gozzy Pickett also shows us his brilliance. This is his first goal of 6.
Almost Fritsch, Jonas chases, kept it alive, Pickett, a full 360, then a left foot snap. That could wake them out of their slumber.
With about 3 minutes left, the free kick is paid to North Melbourne and Hugh Greenwood decides to play on. He tries to left kick check side the ball and he misses. This could have put North Melbourne up. Some really strange holding the ball and holding the ball not paid frees this week. I'm not sure if the umpire's got a memo. This is a really weird decision by the umpire not to call holding the ball. I know he's blindsided, but they pay this very often and you'll see it later.
Garcia, little ball back in.
Whistle to the mouth.
Yep.
He was on the blind side, so he didn't see that drop.
Bailey Smith holds onto Burns' arm. He has no chance to get rid of it. I guess he could have probably tried to kick the ball, but that might have led to holding the ball, and this is paid. Very strange.
Is not released. No genuine attempt, you heard. So Bulldogs, stand. Bailey Smith.
Mason Wood takes a mark inside 50, and he tries to go around the body and kick for goal, and he absolutely shanks it.
Beautifully done, Mason Wood, and some presence in this game early, and wow, completely hit the wrong side of the ball.
With only a minute 30 left, Richmond are down by 4 and they get paid a mark or a free kick in their back half. Now they have a chance to kick the ball forward and go for goal, but instead he kicks it out of bounds on the full.
1.5 minutes left and he kicks it on the full.
Ainsworth takes possession of the ball and he eventually just throws it, and no holding the ball is paid.
Back, gave it to Anderson, bangs it long, Charles down there, off hands. Ainsworth, that's ball, has to be ball. It's not ball. Good pressure though all round.
How this isn't a dangerous tackle surprises me. You can see McCreery clearly moves his leg in front of Duday and judo slams him over his leg, sort of uses momentum against him to throw him on the ground. This could be quite dangerous while the arms are pinned. A dangerous tackle was paid to Jonas. It looks like he falls on his arm or his shoulder. Doesn't make head contact. It looks fine to me.
Jonas, he's ripped off it and dumped hard towards Sparrow. Arriving late in the end, almost taking the mark was Jonas. He's ripped.
The umpires give the Hawks defenders so much time to handball the ball. Eventually handballs it straight over the boundary line, and deliberate is not paid. That should have definitely been deliberate.
Well, I reckon they wore the rough end.
Looks to me like Zach Jones tries to fend off Riley West. He doesn't give up and he tackles him, and it's a beautiful tackle. Possibly holding the ball, but I don't know. But the tackle was fantastic.
Riley West, and to his credit, he stood up and held and pinned the tackle despite copying.
Sam Walsh saves an almost certain goal just from his sheer physicality and dedication to the ball.
Oh, we know how quick he is. Wittering gives chase. Rowan, one-on-one chance to the goal square. Young fell over. You can't do that. Jeremy Cameron had it stripped. Sam Walsh, outstanding effort.
Can you say that again, BT? What?
To be able to access it a bit deeper inside 50.
Steele committing with a rare committed win in a clash tonight for the Saints. Garcia, little handball to Chalor.
A bit deeper inside 50.
Steele committing with a rare committed win in a clash tonight for the Saints. Garcia.
Kelly tackles O'Meara and no holding the ball is paid. This should have been holding the ball. And later we see Newcombe get run down, but he gets the handball off, but holding the ball is still paid. How is that any different from when Cripps tackled and he handballs the ball out of bounds on the full? Should have been holding the ball then.
Out Liam Ryan.
Yeah, interesting. I'm sure he didn't get the handball away.
And Newcomb makes that point strongly. I mean,
Vlosten tries to fend off and he gets tackled and no holding the ball is called. This is the wrong call.
Gave it up. Sonsi for the 1-2. Dragged down from behind. Is that ball?
Didn't give up on the chase.
Well, looks like Vlosten tried to do a bit of a fend off. He put the arm back to...
Then in the same quarter, Simpkin does a very similar thing where he tries to fend off. He handballs the ball. It might have been a throw. There's no way the umpire would have been able to see from where he was stationed. And somehow this one is holding the ball. Cody Waitman, a great friend of the show, gets a free kick from Hill not watching the ball. It's almost a flop, but let's just give him the benefit of the doubt. He does get pushed and he takes a shot for goal and he absolutely shanks it.
We know they want to take the corridor on, so for the last part of this quarter, I'll just be easing up. The risk versus reward I wouldn't be going for. As you can see the free kick there from Bradley Hill, not watching the ball, but it's that going in.
Waitman now for the 5th dog goal in a row. Make it a 30-point margin. Out of bounds on the full.
I've seen the still images of where he looks like he's pushing the umpire, but he's just sort of bracing himself. Nothing to see here.
Still keen to have a bit of a chat and see what's going on. 20 points, that 5 getting involved, a bit of pushing, a bit of shoving. He's pushing every...
We're probably all aware of this one by now, but Tom Stewart runs past the ball and cleans up Prestia. You can see he's definitely not right. He's shaken up, he could barely focus, he's clearly concussed. I haven't seen what the results are of this yet. I would say 4 or 5 weeks is my estimate.
It's not going to be great for Tom Stewart, of course, when we get a look at this.
And of course they've got a tall, bad way, Gary. He's in a really bad way down Prestia. He's hardly moved.
Why haven't they stopped the game? One of these, and this is the incident that we're talking about right now, and he's in a world of hurt, Tom Stewart. Goes past the footy, makes head-high contact, and that's as clear-cut as we've seen for a while.
Errol Goulden gives away a 50-metre penalty against St Kilda. As you can see here, I've actually measured the distance as Tom Hickey is 2 metres tall. We can see how far away he was from the mark. This is clearly a joke, people. Don't you just love to see a hard tackle made by a little man? Cozzy Pickett absolutely destroys Rayner.
Here's Cameron. Lever gets across. Cameron tries to shut him down. He uses the support. It's bound. Brisbane on attack. Rayner. Brisbane on attack. Rayner.
It's not often we get to see a double Falcon in a game. It's almost a curse on, curse off moment here for Melbourne, if everyone remembers the Bowie incident at training.
Langdon snuck in the back. Can he grab? He can. 2 metres, squares it up. Langdon snuck in the back. 2 metres, squares it up. Langdon snuck in the back.
When Jack Viney is at his best, he's amazing to watch. It's just unfortunate he doesn't play like this in more games.
Clever sidestep. Bedford feeds it out. Spargo. Can he finish? Get go. Great athlete, but get go. Great athlete, but...
There was definitely a lot of feeling between Richmond and Geelong. I'm not sure the story behind this one, but it seemed pretty intense and it was definitely a physical game. We can also see Jeremy Cameron almost eye-poke Pickett. Do you think he'll be in trouble for this one?
It got personal between Marlon Pickett and Jeremy Cameron. It was fantastic to watch, but there's a bit happening. Just keep your eyes on the eyes here. Yeah, nothing in it.
Jamie Cripps cops the ball straight to the face. This one looks like it really hurt. Bailey Fritsch was too selfish. He could have handed the ball off and it was almost certain goal. Instead, he turns it over. Harms takes a shot at goal and it just floats through the air. This one's just a little bit strange because both the defenders sort of just let the ball go through for a goal almost. Very strange.
I think it's there, is it? That's a goal. Well, that would be extraordinary.
Jared Lyons takes a knee to the chest and he goes down immediately. This one looks very painful. He does go off for quite some time and he makes his way back onto the oval, but ultimately he is subbed out.
Good turnovers. Game high lead. Lions did lead by beholding his rib cage.
Yeah, could be sternum or ribs, couldn't it? Have a look at the knee.
It was a knee straight into the sternum, guys. So he's very slowly making his way from the ground now. He tried to run, but
it's almost as if the umpire see Darcy Moore in the defending goal square and they just give away a free. This was pissing down with rain. I think this is the wrong decision.
He's given deliberate. The man wasn't within the length of the goal square.
Outside the goal square. He touched the ball a lot. I'm back on.
Oh boy, this is going to be 3 in a row. I told you, Lingy. It's back to 20.
Euchel Hagen's shanked kick is a reminder that he's just one of us.
For the Dogs first of the night, and that's miles offline.
It's very rare, but it's always good to see when a big man gets up there.
29-11 for the season. Game 99. It's been quite a journey, quite a story. Not going to get there. And a big fly over the top. Not going to get there. And a big fly over the top.
Crowd thinks close.
Robbie Tarrant goes back to try and spoil the ball and he gets absolutely cleaned up.
Tarrant so brave, and Toad had a man on his own at the top of the square. Another Toad had a man on his own at the top of the square. Another.
The ball goes out of bounds and it's a Hawks free kick. And I just watched this lovely old lady try to throw the ball over the fence and she barely makes it a whole metre. Nothing to her, I just thought it was quite funny.
Luke Beveridge said before the game, JB, that he wasn't sure. He had to call him in, have a chat with him, find out where he was meant.
How good is this? Hipwood has kicked this 65 metres to hit Charlie Lace out, and Charlie converts. That's an awesome kick.
Cameron gets on his bike, long from Hipwood. Cameron out the back. Did he mark that inside? I reckon he did. Charlie! What about that?
I count 4 turnovers and clumsy plays here by both sides. Just really strange to see, probably fatigue setting in at this point.
Darcy Moore, the fumble was costly. We've seen him do that so often, Darcy Moore, though he gives it back himself now. Switkowski, the toe poker. If Frederick can pick it up, he might back his leg speed in. Good strike of the ball, but just...
Jack Ginnivan gives McCreery a different sort of spray here. Lincoln McCarthy comes in, tries to act pretty tough. Petty gives him the old little fake and he flinches. I think you get one for flinching, don't you?
Cam Rayner directly in front. Should convert. Oh no. McCluggage.
Really great play here by Petty. The desperation to stop a goal is awesome. It's what wins you games. Unfortunately, they didn't.
Was it touched on the line? Harry Petty.
Just before the line.
Review underway. Review complete. Looking at this angle, you can see the ball's touched before crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on the scoreboard.
Well done, Petty.
Jared Berry's going to be missing a week for this eye poke on Clayton Oliver.
Has Berry, there is absolutely no doubt that those fingers got tangled with Oliver's eye.
McStay cops the very rare bouncing falcon.
That right hamstring cramp starting to go on him.
The Collingwood faithful say, finally.
Pushes it towards O'Driscoll. Ginnivan, is he taken high up by? Says so, and the Collingwood Army give it a big cheer.
Awesome running by Crisp here. I reckon he bounces the ball 3 times in about 100 metres, gets the pass off, and it's a stoppage in their forward 50. Not a bad play when Frederick is right behind you.
Frederick just gets there, gets hold of the jumper, doesn't drag him down, handball forward to Myercheck. Pressure comes immediately.
It's in junk time, but this goal by Frederick is awesome.
Last, he's looking for another. It tumbles very close. It's unbelievably good. It's really good. It won't amount to much.
Jack Ginnivan doesn't need much space to cause some damage.
Long ball, lob, needed to take the mark, didn't Ginnivan. How clever is he? So brilliant.
After the commentators say how good Jack Ginnivan has been and how good of a kick he is, then he shanks it. Good old commentator's curse.
Brody Myercheck, the leading goal scorers across the year for Collingwood. This is within his skill set. Jack Ginnivan started it way wide and it stayed there.
If this was a closer game, this could have been very costly.
6 years at the Magpies, he's given that one a bit of a shake. 7-12.
After Collingwood had the game wrapped up, Jeremy Howe goes for a mark right on the siren, and this would have hurt. Hopefully he's okay. The pressure by Cozzy Pickett here is awesome, and it leads to a turnover.
Andrews. Oh no, Darcy Ford in a heap of strife.
Jake Lever rolls his ankle on the grass.
Play on!
Now Robertson.
Stand!
Back to Payne.
How, that's Lever, he's twisted the ankle there. How sore do they want Petrarca to become before he's ruled out of next week?
You've probably seen this one by now, but who knows what the heck was going on in Jake Lever's head. Probably could have been descent by the way he carried on before that. I don't know. Really strange to see here.
Jeez, that's 50.
That is, it's now going to be 50.
Oh no.
Jake Lever, what are you thinking? The umpire's about half a metre away.
The flight path of this ball is very strange, and somehow the ball still stays in.
Couldn't strike the right part of the ball. Stays in. Andrews can't believe it. It's going to be a ball in.
Petty realises that it's Zorko who's tackling him, so he goes down with the elbow right on the chin.
Just not quite getting things right.
Hands off! Hands off! Hands off!
So this is Petty and Zorko here, and Zorko wanting to go on with it as well, and Petty happy to grind him into the ground using that forearm.
The pressure and ultimate tackle here by Collingwood is awesome. They'll do really well next week if they can continue on with this sort of pressure.
Both sides.
Payne didn't make great connection with this, and Cozzy Pickett cleans it up.
High footy, Payne, Pickett, goal, right on the eve of half-time. Pickett's got a...
This is holding the ball for me, but the night before, Jared Berry had the ball, spun 2 times, and then taken to ground, got the handball away, and that wasn't holding the ball, but this one is. For me, it's just the consistency that annoys me.
Rockers rate him as just about close to their best and fairest this year, and he's an outstanding player. The bounce of the ball.
Switkowski goes for the smother and he misses, and Darcy Moore kicks him straight in the chest.
Didn't win it cleanly in the air. Had the clock has the win.
Switkowski has had the wind knocked out of him. So three-quarter time.
This is the other one that I'm talking about, where Berry's tackled almost immediately. He gets spun 2 times, gets the handball away, and this one's play on. I know it's in the 4th quarter, so the umpires put the whistle away. Call it or don't, gotta be more consistent. Melbourne's ability to keep the ball in here went a long way. Unfortunately, they couldn't convert.
Stayed in. Vikson. Pickett. Cozzy Pickett. It stays inside the field of play. Hunt arches the back, gives it off to Cozzy Pickett.
Powell from the Suns has broken his leg. In this clip we'll have a look at it. If you don't want to see it, use the timeline below to skip to the next portion of the video.
Oh my goodness, that is horrific. They're going to have to stop play for that, surely.
That's a dislocated knee.
They need to get the stretcher out there and stop play.
Laird is going to get 50.
Duday from the Crows has been called for holding the ball as he gets tackled over the sideline. Guess it's a little bit different than walking over the sideline, but still holding the ball. At least we're seeing some consistency. I'm really not sure what Hayward was thinking here, but Jonas has saved an almost certain goal here when the game is so close. This would have tied the game, but Jonas was smart enough to not give Hayward the chance. We probably don't see defensive actions get enough attention as they probably should. This one is fantastic. Peter Laddams, who actually used to play for Port, has punched Ollie Wines. I think he'll probably get 2 weeks for this. This is just dumb, and it results in a Port goal.
Position goals. They've been outside of the square yet, Sydney, in this term. They've not been forward of the centre square.
Probably spend a couple. You see here the tackle gets performed, and that's all that needs to happen. But you see the swinging of the right arm.
Not really much to this, but I just thought it looked a little bit funny the way McRae fell. McRae gets a free kick against GWS for holding the ball, and he trips over his teammate and he just falls so easily.
Wrapped up in another strong tackle. Ryan Angwin on debut. Pretty big ask to get past Jack McCrow. Pretty big ask to get past Jack McCrow.
Geelong almost had a certain goal here, but the old heads of West Coast Eagles were smart enough and played great defence to stop a almost certain goal. Cue the Benny Hill music, I think. Dylan Shiel is paid a free kick for being held, and he's just absolutely poor situational awareness between Shiel and his 2 teammates that are running right next to him, and he gets absolutely mown down. His teammates need to be better than this. How's this tackle on Cripps from Pickett? He absolutely judo slams him. Right at the end of the game, the Crows were actually playing with 2 balls here and somehow still lost.
Didn't go to Rochelle, denied access. Tucked the kick off the boot. There was a host of Suns
2 balls on there.
Wow.
A good friend of the show, Cody Waitman, has dislocated his elbow. Take a look, it looks very nasty. They were actually able to put it back in, and Cody played for almost the rest of the game.
Went to put some weight onto that arm, and he was just grimacing in pain.
Hard to watch.
Just grimacing in pain.
Massive episode this week, so if you do like the video, please leave me a like, it helps me out a lot. In this first clip we can see Ainsworth get absolutely cleaned up by Norton, At first I thought it should have been a free, but watching the replay, I think it's fair.
Tidied up by Treloar. Gutsy from Noah Answorth. Treloar pounced on the crumb, and it's the Dogs by 2 straight kicks.
Oh, they're not trying to get on the move too much and just keeping their presence around the ball. And
in this one we can see Butler gets called for holding the ball. I have no idea how. Apparently he throws the ball. I couldn't see it from this camera angle, but I disagree. This looks like holding the man free, if anything.
He's going to have to do some magical work here. Hold the ball. He drained a free out of it. No, it goes the other way. Hold the ball. And Butler is stunned. St Kilda fans in that pocket. Love did well. The little handball wasn't so good. Butler's going to have to do some magical work here.
Stringer kicks the very rare and elusive Chinana. It was checkside banana from just inside 50. That's really hard to do.
Stringer goes at checkside. Jake Stringer! What about that for a finish? That's the one the Bombers needed. Sets a task to Stringer. He's up to it. Stringer goes at checkside. Jake Stringer!
Stringer tackles Warner very late and gives away a 50-metre penalty in the dying minutes of the game between Essendon and Sydney. I think that call's correct. The next one where he completely runs through Guelphy and he gets another 50-metre penalty, that just, yeah, I don't know. That doesn't look right to me.
Going all the way.
In the air, you know you've usually done something wrong.
Gee, Warner didn't take the distance though, did he?
He didn't, and he almost missed.
So at this point he was taken to the line and he just stabbed it through from about...
In this replay we can see the umpire makes contact with Dyson Heppel, and I think the commentators are right. I think the umpire should get 1 week for this.
The umpire there, contact with Dyson Heppel. See if he goes to the tribunal like Eric Heppel.
Didn't see it.
Darcy Fogarty dislocates his finger and it looks shocking. He can't put the finger back in himself, so he has to go off, and they put it back in, and he plays the rest of the game.
You can see the finger on the right hand was pointing at completely the wrong angle. He'll have to get that pop back in. If he can't do it himself, he'll get some help.
Look at his finger there.
Look at the angle. Well, if you play football long enough, particularly up forward, you're going to have dislocated fingers.
Just a half forward, and this man's not...
Oh, pop the finger. Look at that.
After a questionable dangerous tackle, Griffin Logue gives away a 50-metre penalty, all because he forgot which way he was going. This is only 2.5 minutes into the first quarter. This is really strange.
For the umpire, it will be a free kick. And now 52 for not standing the mark properly.
I think he got a bit confused there, Griffin, that he was going the other way. Yeah.
Georgiades takes a great mark here, and unfortunately he cannot convert. He kicks the point on the siren.
I think it has. Look at that. It definitely has. Well, they're different marks, aren't they? They are. A brilliant run and jump at the footy. That.
Harms takes a snapshot from about 5 metres out from the goal line with very limited defenders on him and somehow misses the lot.
Square. Oh, not far away, Viney. But tried to slip through. He was crowded out in the Harms.
Just missed from point blank. He's missed a lot.
Dan Butler and Hunter Clark clash heads in very similar fashion to Jonas and Zach Butters earlier in the year. This looks extremely painful, and Hunter Clark was not able to play for the rest of the game.
Hold that line. Stand. Should be calling the blood. Should be calling the blood rule. Gee, you know what?
I have no idea why this wasn't paid holding the ball. It's clearly holding the ball, even if you got that little handball off. The umpires pay less than that.
Kicks it out of the dangerous zone. Mackay went low. No blue there in the end. Windhager, desperate and strong and tough. Just a bit too much off.
Another strange no call by the umpire here. This is clearly 50 metres. No idea why this wasn't paid.
And here's a Cripps removal out of the middle to go with all of that, and big mark taken here by Highmore. He's played on and he's caught.
Clear out.
Gee, that's interesting. Gee, I would have thought it should have been.
Just add this to the weekly edition of Harry McKay flopping yet again.
Does go now. Long ball by Durden, searching. Mackay was dealt with before the ball arrived. Spills to Cottrell. Cottrell standing stuck. No free there in my book. Went over a bit easy, but
after Hind kicks the winning goal in the Essendon-Sydney game, you can see Zach Merritt comes over for a high five and he gets left hanging.
And the knockout blow! Bang! There she is! Wow. The Bombers are going to get home!
What a result. That's a great exclamation mark for Nick Hind, who's had a fantastic game. And to be sitting there as a high back when he played as a forward, had a fantastic game.
Rowbottom gets called for holding the ball and Zach Merritt takes a shot at goal. Say it with me. One of us.
Who's kicked two, pounces. 16 disposals for Zach Merritt prior to this one. He's kicked two already, both snaps. And he throws his head back in frustration as he misses every.
What a great goal here by Motlop. Take a look.
Through a couple of tackles, floats it towards half forward. Cherry just waited for it. Quick hands, Kennedy. Kick was good. Motlop couldn't finish off. Gather's got to be important here. Almost tripped. Tackle. Got out of it. Motlop. He finishes. Wow, Motlop. He's got his...
Paddy Ryder's footy IQ is elite. Watch this as he sniffs out the passes going there and it ends up with a goal.
Away by Ryder. Wonderful play. Little dribbler. And he had plenty of work on the footy Ryder. He's... Cottrell going wide and Chera riskily knocked away by Ryder.
Just another Papley shank. Yet again, one of us.
7th, 24th Swan to kick 200 goals. He's on to 201. He loved 202 with Tommy Papley. Leans back, doesn't time it at all well.
As this goal from Isaac Rankin. Could be a contender for goal of the year, possibly.
Away to Rankin in the pockets. Oh, yes!
Chad Warner kicks another goal very similar to the Isaac Rankin one, possibly from a harder angle in my opinion.
The only goal so far. Hickey down towards Warner from tight in the pocket. Throws it onto the boot towards goal! Great finish, Warner.
And now possibly mark of the year by Young.
He looked impressive. Young, big fly, great grab. This was some type of sit. He's brilliant.
Lastly, thanks everyone for watching. What are KO doing? They've done Rory Lobb an absolute mischief here. This is a horrible photo. Who chose to use this? Come on. At this point of the game, Geelong have already won, but they make the Lions look like witch's hat at training.
And gets it. Close. Hawkins. Oh, what about the pickup? Flicks it to Close. Outside of the boot. It's a clinic.
Eric Hipwood drops an absolute sitter and it leads to a goal for the Cats. This would have hurt.
The simple one. Now Zach Guthrie. Speed and bombarded with accuracy to Rowan. And now Rowan for the finishing touches here. There's the kick and made it a little difficult.
Bit of an issue with one of the umpire's earpieces and it had to be changed at quarter time when all the players are on the ground ready to go.
About to start the game, I think there's some audio equipment stuff with the umpire, so the audio specialist just getting off the ground at the moment, so a little delay. Max Holmes being tagged by Dev Robinson on the wing, highest rated player on the ground.
Henry cleans up Zach Bailey here. Zach Bailey anticipates the contact, but this is very dangerous from him. If he hits the head at the right angle or the neck, could be very, very bad. I know he's going for the free, but pretty dangerous here by him.
No doubt about it. There's Zach Bailey here for his 37th goal of the year. Also from the 50, struck it beautifully. Beautifully.
They haven't been playing this abuse dissent rule for quite a while, so Zach Bailey must have said something pretty bad to give away a 50-metre penalty here.
you're probably bringing in O'Connor if just a 50 there to Joel Selwood.
A little bit of descent, arms out by Bailey, we think.
O'Connor gives you that flexibility. He can do the run with what Collingwood and Sydney got. A lot of those mid-sized, dangerous mids who can go forward. He could match up.
Selwood in the meantime. Straight through behind it a little. It's a massive 56-point lead.
Rayner clears it out the middle and he kicks it towards Joe Danaher, who misses the absolute lot.
Well done, Rayner. Been impressive. And here comes Big Joe. Forward line. To give the Lions exactly what they want at the start of this second half. Not even sure that registered a score. It didn't.
Few turnovers and slips here that I thought were a bit funny.
Now Kolajasny. Stengel. Hawkins. Andrews goes to ground. So does the big Hawk. Flicks it to Cameron. Now Myers. Got it. Goal Geelong.
Tom Hawkins also shanks.
Has not hit the scoreboard in the major way yet. He won't get a better look than this. Extraordinary.
Good guy Hawkins telling Cameron that he's got a bit of schmutz on his lips.
In a slowy start for him.
As Holmes runs away from a cluggage, it looks like he pulls his hamstring on this kick. If it is a hammy, he will not be playing in the grand final.
Remotely got that part of the game right, this margin would be really ugly. What are we seeing with Holmes? Steve Saunders leeching over him there, and he's the best. But it's a distressed looking Holmes.
Rayner rolled his ankle here, and I think BT has the appropriate reaction from anyone who's ever done this injury before. Yeah.
Yeah, he came down for that marking contest there, BT, rolled his right ankle.
But he's in a lot of pain.
Yuck. Friendly fire there, I think McStay.
This Chinana kick from Stengel is absolutely awesome.
Now under real pressure here is Starcevic, I think it is, and he's acting like he's trying to get rid of it, but really making no indentation on that. 46 goals kicked in it. Remarkable small forward effort. And this is a real difficult shot. Goes for the banana, got it bending back. Gee, simplified that.
Berry and Bailey fall over, which gives Joel Selwood the perfect opportunity to kick the ball into the forward 50.
Selwood to Hawkins, stretching fingertip up. He's already loaded up with 49 goals in finals. This would be number 50 from 50 with a left to right little gem that just misses.
A lot of fatigued players here. Stengel has many options, simply runs too far, and then followed up by Darcy Gardner kicking it out of bounds on the full.
But it also shows the flexibility. He's happy to change the game style.
McGovern from Carlton has one of the worst flops of the year. I really hope he gets a fine for this, because this is just ridiculous.
He had no right to mark that. Johnson could be the hero. He had no right to mark that.
Zorko with a great one-arm mark.
All Saints on that leaderboard is Zorko. What about that mark? Borders. Zorko. What about that?
Fisher shows that sometimes it's best to hold on to the ball and to take your time and make the right decision.
Onto the right boot, might have kicked a goal, hands. A little bit of magic from Zach Fisher.
Some really interesting observations here by Derm.
Sean Darcy, I mean, Nick Natanui is a much bigger specimen as an opponent, but I don't think Nick can travel around all that well these days, given his age and the size he is. But Darcy's he's like an oversized wombat. It's just huge.
I'm not sure if is that a compliment or not?
Yes, for a ruckman it is.
Oh,
yeah. He's like an oversized wombat.
Gaff smartly runs into the fence after being pushed once the ball is out. This is an easy free kick. He's just too smart.
In the game, at least make a positive action like a tackle.
Nelson and Brayshaw continue with their hostilities as ball's out of play.
Much better by...
After Gawn takes a great mark in the forward 50, one umpire calls mark and the other umpire, Matt Stevic, calls play on, and you can see Gawn is very confused.
And Brayshaw said don't do it.
Their umpire called the mark.
Matt Stevic at the top of the screen went to call play on.
The Carlton defenders punched the ball from behind the 9-metre mark, and this is a clear insufficient intent to keep the ball in. Whether it went through for a point or out of bounds, it's going to be a free kick.
It's going to be insufficient attempt, and that's exactly as you said. It's just the pressure build-up. Get the left foot working here. He's miscued badly. Carlton fans love it. Get the left foot working here. He's miscued badly. Carlton fans love it.
Dangerfield takes a mark inside the forward 50 and he too shanks it.
As it turned out, Bewes' appetite for the football was strong, and his delivery, despite the double grab from Dangerfield and the strong... Stewart doesn't have enormous confidence. He's giving me a little offering away to the left. But Danger's going to take it on. It's a horrible runner.
He does. He hooks from distance, so he's just got to rely on that. Does that
to the left. But Danger's going to take it on. Horrible runner.
He does. He hooks from...
Caleb Sarong gives away a 150-metre penalty. I've never seen that before. I think 2 were for head-high hits and the last was for descent.
There
That's going to be a free. Yeah.
Sarong and Redden. Sarong not happy.
It's a jumper punch.
150-metre penalty. Not 50, not 100. 150-metre penalty against Caleb Sarong. To join into the scuffle. No love lost. West Coast, the underdogs, have come with a fighting mentality, and it is right on here.
There we go. Well, they can't go the 6-6-6 rule if they try and bounce it, because both teams, who do they award it to? The umpires are trying to control this so they can restart the game, but they can't on the 6-6-6 rule.
Lynch takes a great mark and then he tries to pass the ball on, and it's an absolute shake.
Almost drags it down, he has.
Really?
8 is his career highest.
Contested marks, 5 contested marks.
He doesn't take it on.
That's an interesting one.
Don't know why. I must have just thought he's a fraction too far out. He doesn't take it on.
Dwayne Russell is probably one of the better commentators we have.
And it's on behind play. Jonas, Parrish, Stringer and Tarzan.
Yeah, I think it was post.
Charlie Dixon just absolutely strips the ball off of Caldwell.
Spanks it straight to Martin. Can't quite corral it. Caldwell, pocket pick by Charlie. And they're out here, Port Adelaide. By corral it. Caldwell, pocket.
I think Finlayson will only get a fine for this dangerous tackle.
Rosie still fighting hard. Wines knows only one way. McGrath. Ooh. Finlayson. Dangerous tackle.
Dangerous tackle. Boys. Don't go in.
So his jumper ripped off earlier on in the game, Finlayson, so he's been fired up.
Knows only one way. McGrath. Ooh. Finlayson.
I have a few issues with this one. Johnson oversteps the mark, so it should have been 50-metre penalty, or he should have been told to come back before McCartan played on. Then the umpire does call play on and he takes the ball over under immediate pressure. This, I don't believe, should have been a free kick. I could be wrong, let me know.
On there. Umpire Williamson has determined this would be...
You've marked the ball. Oh, I didn't hear a mark. I'll blow the whistle for a mark. Play on.
Goes on him in a flash. Little soccer off the ground lands with McCartan.
Play on.
Oh, and he is hassled by...
The ending to the Melbourne-Carlton game was something to behold. Cozzy Pickett, you just can't give him any room.
Easily for Motlop. May beaten to it. Now a chance for Hunt. It's a long ball towards Brown. Off hands. Melksham been terrific all night. Pickett kicks. Is it a point or a goal? It's a goal. And the Blues fans' hearts break all around the country. Off hands. Melksham been terrific all night. Pickett kick.
We see this happen almost every week now. Dougal Howard punches the ball over once it's been called play on, and it's a free kick to the opposite team. Pryor kicks for goal and he shanks it.
Dover and deliberately. Doogie, was it stiff or not? But Pryor can run around and make this a really good start. It's the wrong side of the ball. Pryor can run around and make this a really good start. It's the wrong side of the ball.
Crouch will probably be missing 2 weeks for this head-high hit on Gardner.
And hit late. There's a mark to hit, but anyway, they'll come for Crouch.
I think he's in trouble, Gardner, JB.
News on the wing, let's have a look.
Free kick with
That's not good, I don't think. That's head contact with a bump.
Oh, that's weak.
And it could have been a...
Some more interesting commentating here.
Just looking at that blow to Daniel Rich. Hodgins built like a wombat. Yeah, they're just thick everywhere.
Yeah, he's a solid boy, Richie. It was a good, hard effort from both players.
But he's up and about. Just looking at that blow to Daniel Rich. Hodgins built like a wombat. Yeah, they're just thick everywhere.
Yeah, he's a solid boy, Richie.
I feel like Gold Coast had a pretty bad run with the umpires on the weekend. This is only one example. They probably weren't going to win against Geelong anyway, but this one was hard to watch.
Forward pocket, floats it, Menegola, the man, under it, he stole it from Lukosius, picked his pocket and goal. Forward pocket, floats it, Menegola, the man, under it, he stole it